Hi, this is Robert, and I wanted to talk about a new toy I've gotten. And let's see if we squeeze around here. You can see it lurking back behind the Magneplaner there. Anyway, it's a bit dark, but let's see. So I wanted to talk to you about can a REL 7ti subwoofer blend well with a pair of Magneplaner 2.6Rs? And so far it looks like it can. I've only had it for a week or so now, and I was really concerned getting the thing, whether it would have the usual issues I have with subwoofers. Remember, I worked for Sunfire, and the first Sunfire product I ever saw or touched was the Sunfire True Sub, which is an amazing accomplishment. I mean, it is one of the loudest, most powerful subs you'll come across. It also has, what's a kind word? A bit of a signature sound. I mean, it is not the world's fastest subwoofer. It can have a bit of a one-note quality, and it doesn't blend extremely well. Well, you can. It will play as loud as a set of Klipschhorns. I mean, it'll keep up with Klipschhorns, so it is very efficient. But trying to get a seamless blend where you're going from a fast speaker like the Maggies into the bass range, you do hear a dichotomy, a disconnection there, where you're definitely shifting gears from a very quick light bass that's extremely tonally accurate to a much fatter, heavier, thicker, slower bass quality on most subwoofers. I'm not going to condemn the Sunfires out of hand. Most of the techniques that designers, engineers, manufacturers use for designing subwoofers, adding a lot of mass to the cone, tuning the box for one certain note, tend to give it it makes it sound great on home theater where you're just dealing with explosions or whatever. But when you actually get to music and you're trying to get something that covers a wide range of notes, usually that tuning tends to fall down. Because it's basically, I mean, if you look at how a lot of subs, how their frequency response is, I mean, it is basically Mount Everest. I mean, it goes straight up and then right back down again. Ideally, what you'd want would be a mesa or a plateau of some kind where it just goes up and then it's flat across the range of notes it needs to reproduce. And I'd heard a lot about REL. REL has a different philosophy. They deal with lighter weight cones and tune the box differently. And you can definitely hear it. It is a much faster sub. And I found it blended far easier than most subs. I mean, you can pretty much make the REL disappear. I have issues with subwoofers anyway, in that, well, one, I live in a duplex and I don't want to make my neighbors hate me. So I wanted something that would be actually more of a woofer than a subwoofer. I didn't, the real low bass notes are nice, but I didn't want the neighbors to think that someone was attacking the building with a pile driver either. So And I'll admit that the high pressure wave fronts that some subwoofers put out can actually give me a headache. And I don't know whether that's sinus related or what, but I literally spend most of my time turning subwoofers down to where they don't irritate me. So what I found is I was able to blend the REL to the Maggies fairly easily. Um, I was a bit concerned because the REL has the low level inputs are all monophonic, designed for LFE channels from home theater systems, whereas I was looking for a stereo input. And the REL does have one, but it's strictly high level, which means they have this interesting connector which has I think it's called a Neutrik speak on connector, but you plug it in and turn it 90 degrees and it locks in. And then the other end has the connections that go actually on the output of the amplifier. And see, I don't know if we can see them here on the, but there you can see them, hopefully. So these high level inputs give you the left and right uh, drive signal for stereo on the REL sub. And it works quite well. REL says that they prefer the high level inputs for the hookup because it adds the sound of the power amplifier to the signal going to the sub, so it does make an easier transition from the speakers to the subwoofer, and it does seem to work. But what I found was the hookup was relatively easy. Initially, I had the phase out of I had the phase switch set wrong, so I had to go back and repeat my setup procedure. But I start with just a couple albums. I'm very familiar with the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album. I used it as a test disc at Sunfire. It was the only test disc I had for a couple years. And there are several songs. What's the one I'm thinking of? Dreams, I think, has just a very solid bass line in it. And that's a good song for setting up subs. Then I went to my go-to stereo test disc, which is REM's Murmur on the Mobile Fidelity. And I immediately realized I had to turn the level control down because the kick drum at the beginning of Radio Free Europe was just overwhelming. So that worked well. But the setup is fairly easy. I mean, I got the phase switch set, and I got the volume roughly set, and then setting the crossover point was fairly easy. I just turned it up until I heard a peak starting to happen where both the speakers and the sub were overlapping, and I just backed it off a little bit. And then I just dialed in where the volume would be. I also enjoy using the Police Synchronicity Mobile Fidelity disc for setting up bass and subwoofers. There's some really nice bass riffs on Tea in the Sahara and Murder by Numbers, among others. That worked well. Listen to some Radiohead then. Listen to Love Over Gold, Dire Straits. And then this is a nice classical disc of this fellow who's an excellent cellist. And so I wanted to make sure the cello didn't sound tubby. Because what I wanted was, I like a sub that adds a bit of solidity and impact to the bass without being boomy, one note, or just grating on your nerves. And I think that worked. I've been able to dial in. It took 2 hours to dial in the REL, and I'm pretty happy with where it is right now. And hopefully you could hear it fairly well on the Pete Townsend cut I played you a snippet of. But anyway, this isn't really a review. I just wanted to say yes, it does mate very well with Magneplaners. It doesn't sound slower than the speakers. It doesn't sound boomy or one note. It does sound like just an extension of the speakers, which is exactly what I wanted. So it's worked very well. Anyway, wanted to thank you all for watching, and that's about it. There are a lot of great REL sub reviews on YouTube. I could recommend Zero Fidelity and also Thomas on Stereo. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.